Welcome everybody to another episode of What's NXT for January 30th, 2019. I'm of course your host, the Rated R reviewer Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
And tonight we have an episode of NXT that is 2 matches deep. And it is, of course, the NXT that comes after a takeover. So we've got nothing but dark matches from Saturday's NXT TakeOver.
Absolutely no fallout from it until next week.
And we knew we were getting these 2 matches going into this show, but we didn't know that this was going to be all we got. And it almost really is all we get. Other than a few vid packs from the pay-per-view, recapping all the matches, and we got some interviews post-match. What I do like about this show is it doesn't seem to be interfered with footage from Full Sail like they tend to try to do.
Yeah.
Like with some of the interviews or backstage segments, they don't happen at the pay-per-view. In this case, everything that we saw tonight actually happened in the dark at the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Before we get into the show, though, we do want to shout out a plug to tomorrow's episode of the NXT party, where we are going to have Colin the Cleaver Andrew. We worked not hard at all on that nickname, but I think we really like it.
Yes.
And we hope Colin likes it as well. We told him he'd have a proper British nickname, and I feel like Cleaver might be a proper British nickname. I don't know.
I like it.
I like it, though. Yeah. We were going to go with Battle Axe, but that didn't really like. But the Cleaver. Colin the Cleaver. Sounds good. So, we're going to have that tomorrow. We are also going to have Noah Foster, I believe, scheduled to be on the screen as well. So, there will be 4 of us reviewing NXT UK, which is bound to be a hell of a lot better show than what we got tonight out of NXT. I know I should excuse it because it's the fucking pre-show, the dark match, the shit that happened before NXT TakeOver. They're giving it to us now, 4 days later, and I should excuse it, but I can't. I can't, man.
Well, what I found interesting is the fact that, yeah, now we realize that, like, the NXT audience actually got 3 tag matches in a row, like to start off their show.
Dude, you could have 4 tag matches in a row. You could have 3 tag matches and then a 6-man tag. You could have any number of tag matches in a row if they're interesting and entertaining to watch. Mm-hmm. In this case, there was about 2 minutes in the middle of the first tag match. That's Io Shirai and Kairi Sane versus Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir. Mm-hmm. There's 2 or 3 minutes in there somewhere in that match that is worth watching. Other than that, not really. Mm-hmm. The main event, we've got the Forgotten Sons Jackson Riker, so we've got Cutler Blake, and then the Street Profits, so we've got Dawkins and we've got Ford, and you'd think, right? You'd fucking think. But other than maybe the last 2 or 3 minutes of that match, the rest of the match was meh.
Yep. all I heard on my left ear, I need a story. Give me a story. And
somebody give me a story.
So pretty much, that was it.
We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's there.
Yeah.
It came. And then it went, and that was it. And so let's start with the first match of the night, because my biggest peeve about this match is that Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir again didn't get to go over. They looked a hell of a lot better than they did the first time we saw them. They actually showed some moves in there that look not
passable.
I don't want to say genuine, but they look genuine to them. Like they look like their own style, their own moveset. Other than that, they were jobbers. They were just there to kind of ground and pound, you know, get the cheap heel tag team advantage, and then ground and pound or rest hold on, who was it? Io was eating all of the...
Yeah.
So Kairi Sane ends up getting the hot tag and goes on a tear, and then, you know, what happens? Well, you were either going to have Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir lose their 2nd match in a row, making them 0-2, or you were going to have Io Shirai, who was the upcoming star of the year, and you've got Kairi Sane, who is both the female star of the year and also the overall superstar of the year. They lose.
Yeah.
So
And then that just kills any kind of momentum or anything for them. But at the same time, they don't need momentum. At this point, Duke and Shafir need momentum. They need to be doing something because all they're doing right now is losing.
You could say it's their first 2 matches and they've got names and they're going up against people that are really good because their first match was Io Shirai and who was it? Dakota Kai.
Yeah. But you have to realize this. At this point, though, they're being lumped into the same category as Baszler and Rousey, and they're not even near that potential, or not nearly that ready to even be brought into the same name of those two. Especially with the whole four mixed martial arts horsewomen. So,
I'm just saying though, if it's going to be that hard of a decision that you can't give them the win, then don't book the match in the first place.
Pretty much.
Because they're
looking weaker by the minute.
Maybe they're trying to get away from them going out there and beating other jobbers, but there are women in the division that they could go out there and defeat that it wouldn't look like they were just given the victory, being as green as they are. There are women that they could go out there and defeat, maybe Lacey Evans, and somebody else. Maybe Lacey Evans and a jobber.
Yeah.
Something like that. But too late now for Lacey Evans. But there are women in the division that aren't jobbers that are more credible to defeat, that is actually going to give you something off of that, as opposed to going against Io Shirai and Dakota Kai or Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, and there's no way you can get that victory.
I was about to say, the only other person I could actually think about that would actually put them over and actually make it look good probably would be Candice LeRae.
My biggest question here is, why isn't Shayna Baszler out there with them, helping them get their victory? Like they help her get her victories.
Well, like for this match, naturally, because she was preparing for her match with Bianca Belair and just sitting back in the backstage.
Fucking A bullshit. No,
I know, but that's wrestling logic,
They're her cronies, and she should be taking care of them. I'm just saying, and maybe that's part of what it's going to boil down to.
Does Scar take care of the hyenas? No.
In order to get Shayna Baszler off the roster and into the main roster without having to be stuck there with Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. Maybe you have a falling out of sorts.
Yeah. But that just completely kills the horsewomen versus the.
But that's how you have Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir beat Io Shirai and Kairi Sane without looking bad.
Yeah.
Those two can be protected because Shayna Baszler causes some sort of fluky, fucked up win. He'll win.
You have to kind of wonder if there's going to still be a 6-man or 6-woman tag between, once Dakota Kai gets healed up.
You could say that we went into this match jaded, thinking that nobody losing is a good idea. But I think if Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, I'm sorry, I had it right earlier.
Yeah, you did.
If those two took a loss here because Jessamine Duke or Marina Shafir pulled out something legal that just catches them off guard, fruit roll-up, some sort of funky fruit roll-up.
Just a quick botch, like maybe a slip off the turnbuckle or something that they capitalize on.
Yeah, takes nothing away from them, and it doesn't give Shafir and Duke 0-2.
Yeah.
Because these two don't need that.
No, they don't.
So anyway, they need to look good because Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey already look good.
Yeah.
Baszler looks way better than Rousey. And that's why I'm like, she's ready for the main roster. She really is ready for the main roster.
Well, Baszler's been doing this a little bit longer than Rousey has too. So that's the thing. Like, I'm going to lay off on Ronda Rousey a little bit because she's actually been doing better. But at the same time, I don't think she's I don't think she's still up to the caliber where she's like the best female wrestler in the world.
Okay, so there are a few spots in this match, despite my jaded anger towards it, that I want to point out. Because, like I said, Shafir and Duke look like they actually have come into their own a little bit more since their previous match. They hit this tag team move where Shafir has got somebody. up in a fireman's carry. She goes for like an
It was
AA,
Shirai.
but she holds on. And then Duke kicks her in the gut. Our critique, and his answer was best. Needs a different follow up to the setup, and he said an axe kick. And out of Jessamine Duke, an axe kick would look amazing because she is super tall and her legs are super long.
Just have her connect with her hand, like with the kick, or maybe just grab onto it at one point, or grab onto her foot and just bring it back down.
So if anybody out there in NXT is watching this, just casually mention to Jessamine Duke maybe she should do a really tall axe kick.
It would just look that much more effective. It really would.
And then, so they're working on Io. Shafir's got a dragon sleeper on Io, who walks up the turnbuckle in the corner and into a sliced bread. And her version, I guess, of a sliced bread number, what would it be now? Number 6?
Yeah.
Sliced bread number 6. We are up to 6. We get the hot tag to Kairi Sane, who catches an interceptor. Slides into the corner with the forearm. I can't remember what the fuck they call that. I'm sure it has something to do with a ship. And then we get Io come in with an assisted elbow drop and then runs out to the outside to do a suicide dive onto Duke. And then
leave Shafir in there to be elbow drop from the top.
Yeah, with the insane elbow drop. That I have not been high on this move since the second time I saw Kairi Sane in a match. It was the Mae Young Classic round 2, and she hit the elbow drop. Let's just say not square. She hit her like in the legs or some shit. But of course, they're still going.
They sold it like crazy,
and she won the match with that shit. And I'm like, should have kicked out and then redone the spot, but like it didn't sell me on that or anything after that because I'm just like. As much hype and as much as she plays to the crowd before she does that move, to fucking land it that far off was just like, I'm done.
I'm about to say, with me, the whole match was just kind of a buzzkill because of that, because of Duke and Shafir losing. I wanted them to win.
I tell you what my favorite part of this match was. Io Shirai comes over to the corner to like take Jessamine Duke out from being able to interfere. Drop kicks her in the head, dude, right to the top of her fucking skull.
Yes.
Just poof, knocks her to the floor.
Damn near a basement drop kick.
Jesus. That looked like it really fucking hurt.
Maybe first floor. Not a basement, maybe first floor.
So, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane win, and Duke and Shafir get a second loss in a row, and I don't like this. But what can you do? Thank God it wasn't the main event.
That's my mentality about it.
So up next we get a video package recapping Gargano versus Ricochet for the North American Championship, and then an interview with Johnny Gargano after said match and his victory. There's a trend here.
Yep.
But let's start with this one. What do you think about the interview?
Well, pretty much like he said exactly what he was going to say. Like he pretty much told people he's going to walk in to take over and take the belt, and he did. But he was doing it in such a robotic voice.
He sounded like, I mean, I'm sure he was winded. This is probably after the match, but before he came out and joined Ciampa, so she had.
This is directly after a match. You can tell because when he came out and joined Ciampa at the end of the show.
But yeah, he sounded like he had Kane's voice box vibrator thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he sounded like Ned Korplansky.
So. Now we get a video package for the Women's Championship match, Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler, and an interview with Bianca Belair after the match.
We had already seen this on WWE.com because I actually played it because, yeah, Sam Roberts made some comments at the pre-show about Bianca Belair pretty much not being ready and wasn't takeover worthy.
Was not takeover worthy. He was spilling tea, man.
So basically, she responded with kiss my ass. So I'm wondering if that's actually going to be something that's going to keep on going. May Sam Roberts actually show up on NXT? Who knows? But I've already made it known that what is it? Him and the other dude. I can't remember his name. McPhee, I think it was. But
McPhee,
yeah,
something like that.
but they need to be on some sort of WWE broadcast because they're just brilliant together.
Well, you mean more because they were technically on one, the pre-show for NXT, which is odd.
Yeah.
To have a pre-show for NXT when there's nothing on it. In this case, we actually had the announcement of the winners for all the year-end awards and shit, but for the most part, I don't think there's a need for an NXT pre-show if you're not going to have a match.
I was about to say, you have enough video recaps. The only people that didn't get a video recap or video package for that was the tag match.
But they do that during the pay-per-view. They do that during TakeOver. That's what takes up part of the 30 minutes that each match gets. 5 matches, 2.5 hours. Each segment gets 30 minutes. A lot of that is a video package. Then you've got your ring entrances. Then you've got your 15-minute match, maybe.
Yeah.
So, up next, can you guess? Video recap of Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno at TakeOver. And then afterwards, and by this point, we're catching on. We know that there's going to be an interview with somebody. We're just hoping.
I thought it was War Raiders versus Undisputed Era before that.
You know what? I probably forgot that fucking note. So yeah. So that happened.
Yeah, they had the they spoke to the new tag team champions. Pretty much the war is over. The raid is on. Just a bunch of hokey stuff, pretty much.
I'm gonna have to add that to my notes for posterity.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that we got the recap, and then we got the interview with the War Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the recap, and then we get the interview with. And he was hoping for Cassius Ohno. I'm like, yeah, fuck anything but Matt Riddle. I don't want to listen to Matt Riddle again. And I'm like, how about Keith Lee? Let's listen to Keith Lee.
Where's Conan Reeves at this point? Can we talk to him?
Somebody. But no. Yeah, it's Matt Riddle. And I guess this is pre-match, so he's like worn out and I'm out of breath, but he sounds just so fucking dumb.
He sounds dumber than usual.
I mean, God. I mean, I get the shtick. I get it. But there comes a point where just that dumb sound of the way he talks just like... And I really hope he doesn't talk like that in real life.
The real riddle of this is what the big deal is about him.
Yeah. So I guess it annoys me so much that it's a turn off, and it's a go-away turn off.
Mm-hmm.
Not the good kind like Ciampa. So finally, we are into a different kind of recap. Better than nothing. So this is recapping the brawl that happened after TakeOver went off the air. The 6 men that were in it, let's see, we've got Velveteen Dream, we've got Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and then Adam Cole comes out, and then Aleister Black comes up the ramp from the match, and then out comes...
Ricochet, out of nowhere.
Yeah. So this is the 6-man tag we're going to get. We're going to get the heels versus the faces. Somehow Johnny Gargano ends up on the heel side. But he's a good guy. He's the hero. He's
Ciampa's buddy.
Fucking delusional and full of shit. So
and awesome.
So we get the return of DIY, sort of.
Yeah.
During halftime at the Super Bowl, where Jerry and I will be at work.
The DIY with a baby.
Yeah. So I'll watch that when I get home, probably.
Probably.
If I'm not like passing out after a 12-hour show.
I was about to say it's gonna be available on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere.
Watch it during break.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's probably only like a 10-minute match, so that would work.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, we are on to the main event, which is actually a match. Thank God. Thank God it wasn't like the last episode, or was it the first episode after the New Year or whatever? 2 hour long.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's not speak of that episode.
No.
Worst episode ever. This at least had 2 matches, and we like the Street Profits.
We more than like the Street Profits at this point. Like, there are Fabian and Eichner of NXT, like the regular brand. Yeah. Because they're consistently entertaining. I like the dynamic with the, the athleticism of Ford, and I like the strength of Dawkins. So it's really cool, like...
And they're funny.
Yeah, they're funny.
They're naturally funny. It's not like shtick, or it's not like
we didn't get a slap.
We
didn't get a slap in this one, which kind of disturbed me a little bit.
We learned from the last time. But we've got the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford versus the Forgotten Sons, and in this case, the tag team that we normally get. We've got Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake, but we've got Jackson Riker on the outside, who has been doing fucking nothing lately in their matches, and the very least,
yeah,
we finally get Jackson Riker interfering.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get there, let's rewind to the beginning of this match. Because they take off their jackets, and by they, I mean the Street Profits, and their nipples are showing. And this is no big deal, because the Forgotten Sons, neither one of them are wearing tops. Their whole chests are showing, right? But no. Not their nipples are showing and very highlighted with these tops that come off of rings in the center that just come down and bring their nipples up. And it's very weird looking.
Yeah, it's very weird looking outfits, because usually they come out in these really cool, like, at least Dawkins wears, like, the beater and the yellow and black tights, and then, like, Ford, he doesn't wear any kind of top, he just wears the long trunks, or the long tights, so for them to be wearing something that looks like you'd see, like, in an Academy Awards or something, it was weird.
It looks like these tops were, like, designed to showcase their man boobs. Of course, Montez Ford doesn't have really much of man boobs, but it's like they're meant to come down and hold them up. What he does have.
Dawkins jiggled.
It's a weird thing to nitpick about, but if you see these outfits, you'll understand what I'm saying, because I get the idea. There's a way that they could have cut it further down to where you'd have the same idea without it cutting across the bottom of the nipple.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think this one wears something different because it was a takeover, but at the same time, ooh, bad fashion choice.
So I've got a few notes on this match. Most of the beginning of it was just, the heels, Cutler and Blake working over
Montez.
And rest holds and shit like that. But we had the Street Profits deliver this double flapjack, and I think it was Blake that they had, but they drop him on Cutler.
Mm-hmm.
That looked really cool. We had a buckle bomb by Blake onto Ford, but instead of the turnbuckle, we had Cutler in the corner bringing up both his knees. That was really cool.
Then Blake rolls out and Cutler nails a pretty interesting looking move with the springboard backbreaker.
So he springs his thighs, the back of his thighs, off of the top rope, and then comes back down and almost Uranagis him into a backbreaker across the knee.
Roderick Strong probably jizzed in the back.
You stole my joke.
Hey, you steal my jokes on occasion.
Yeah, I'm proud of it too. Because they're hilarious.
They're not memes, okay? We're good.
Once I'm sure that you forgot the joke, I'm like, hey, I'm going to remember this. One of these days we'll do one of those editor's notes, where you look back on it and I'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, that was Jerry's joke.
That was Jerry's joke, yeah.
We'll never do that, but you can assume sometimes out there, based on the conversations that he and I have when we actually watch the show, some of the jokes I make and some of the jokes he makes are the other person's joke, and we just let it go. So if you laugh at anything I say, just remember there's a chance that was Jerry's joke. Get that out of the way. Because, for real though, about half of this match was a joke.
Yeah.
The other half of this match was pretty interesting. We had some near falls that actually had me, okay, Street Profits are going to get this match. No. So we get a hot tag into Dawkins, who comes in fucking on fire.
Yes.
Just nailing shit. Like, some of his strikes reminded me of The Undertaker. Getting him in the corner.
Oh, that and the pop-ups that he was doing. He was just tossing them up in the air and just letting them fall.
And then Ford gets into the ring just to kind of take out the guy on the outside. I think it was Cutler.
Yeah,
on the
outside.
Cutler. Yeah, he does this. You want to call it a Tope Con hero, kind of, right? But he doesn't really run and jump over the top rope. He more runs into a standing jump, like a standing spring jump, and front flips over the top rope to the outside. And he got so much fucking air.
He got more air than AJ Styles ever did off that Fosbury flop or anything like that. He just got mad air on.
He seems like he gets the kind of air off of a standing jump that most people, not even most people, really good high flyers get off of a springboard off the top rope.
I was about to say stuff that like probably managers needs help with on NXT UK. He could probably just do just standing there on his own.
So meanwhile, in the ring, Angelo Dawkins hits a spear onto Wesley Blake and near fall.
Yeah.
So then we get the Street Profits stack up.
Oh, calls Montez Ford over. It's like, get up there. Montez grabs his like cup, splashes whatever's in there into his face, and just goes up to the top.
And so we have Angelo gets, I believe it was Blake,
Yep.
up into an electric chair. So we've got a doomsday setup. Ford goes up to the top rope.
Screams in his face.
And then comes off the top with a blockbuster.
Yes.
This isn't the first time I've seen this move, but I don't think I'll ever remember anybody else doing it other than them, because this was amazing looking.
It was very crisp and very flowing and just nailed beautifully. If there's any move of the night, I'm pretty sure that was it right there.
So that should have gotten the pinfall, but we had Cutler come in and break it up. And then I think Dawkins and Ford are in the corner. I guess Dawkins just got the tag. But then on the outside, Cutler pulls at Dawkins' ankles, pulls him out of the ring. And Ford goes to, I guess he was going to do a suicide dive onto Cutler. So he runs to the opposite ropes. Well, finally, Jackson Riker does fucking something.
Pulls ropes down.
He does a lot, actually. Yeah, he gets the top rope, pulls it down, so Ford tumbles over the top rope to the outside. Then he actually picks him up and he fucking hits him.
Yeah.
And he puts him down, throws him back in the ring.
Dawkins watches this.
I don't know if he throws him back in the ring. Yeah, Dawkins is on the other side making eyes at Riker.
Oh,
Riker's making eyes at him.
Ford is down. He doesn't get thrown back in.
So, I guess Dawkins is going to deal with Riker himself, and he goes to go around the ring, and Riker's coming along with him, step for step. About 1 or 2 steps around the ring post, and here comes, who was it, Cutler?
Yep.
Cutler does a suicide dive, catches him out of nowhere, takes him outside, throws him back in the ring. We get
the memory remains.
Yeah. Odd name for a tag team finisher. Odd name for a finisher anyway. But the memory remains.
Yeah.
Which is a kind of a scorpion death drop with a middle rope double foot stomp to the gut on the way down. And the Forgotten Sons win because Jackson Riker finally fucking got involved. I guess because he finally needed to.
That's what we were establishing right there, is the fact that the Forgotten Sons really haven't gone against anybody that established yet, and so they haven't needed Riker's help. So with the Street Profits, they actually needed assistance. They were in danger of losing that match at Takeover or at the pre-show thing, and yeah, if Riker hadn't interfered, chances are the Street Profits would have walked away with it, and we would have seen that Killer Frog Splash again.
Man, those near falls that we got for the Street Profits, man, some of those moves were just fucking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a huge fan of the Street Profits.
We still would like a flag.
I'll be alright with another match between these two teams, especially if the Street Profits can find somebody to come out and be in their corner with them. Maybe Keith Lee.
Read my mind.
Keith Lee, get him away from Matt Riddle, man.
It's not just because they're all black. It's because you really want to see Keith Lee with them.
He was honestly just the first Dave that popped up. But the fact that they're all 3 black, it completes the look.
Yeah.
They'd probably all match their matching outfits better, but either way, I would rather see Keith Lee than Matt Riddle. I don't know who else has got nothing going on.
The pose they do at the beginning of the match where they come through a second rope would look really cool with Keith Lee standing in the background doing his pose at the same time. So I like that.
Okay. Just better than Matt Riddle.
Anything's better than Matt Riddle.
Right now, yeah, I tend to agree. So, that's the end of the main event. Because there's no aftermath here. There's no beatdown after they won the match. That's a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
You would think the Forgotten Sons would probably pick them up and do some more damage.
Yeah, still be pissed about it. If anything, Riker should have gone after Dawkins. knowing full well he's down now at that point. They could have just like dove on him like hyenas.
But no. So, around these parts, we actually rate the main event and not the show itself. And thank God, because
it could have gone either way. It could have been the women's tag match or their tag match.
At least it was only 50 minutes. It wasn't like 58 or 59.
Mm-hmm.
And still only 2 matches. 'Cause fuck, 4 matches in 1 hour. That's all we ask. NXT. NXT UK produces that 9 times out of 10. 4 matches in 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Even with an in-ring promo, you'll still have 4 matches in 1 hour. So, we rate the main event off of the general Jerry Slaughter's 5-star rating system. And Jerry, you always get to go first. So where do you put this main event?
Coming off, like, knowing we have it's a dark match, and the fact that we already knew the build up to it and everything, and there is a little bit of backstory to it. And actually, the Forgotten Sons not being mentioned during Street Profits is like running off of the tag teams of who they need to beat, who they're going to beat. For the Forgotten Sons to actually pull off the victory, that it kind of killed the Street Profits momentum a little bit, but I don't think it's going to kill it enough because they have such a strong fan base and whatnot, and the Forgotten Sons really did need to get a win. But overall, on the match, I was entertained, actually, but I still give it 3.5. Like that's 3 mostly because Street Profits are in it, and that just puts it middle of the road for me anyway. But the fact that like Cutler and Blake, they had a little bit of like decent offense in it, but it was almost all Street Profits the entire match. So, but 3.5 just seems like awfully fair for me, especially after such a great takeover and everything. This was a good match leading into it because right after that you had the War Raiders versus Undisputed Era. So I see it as the tag matches kind of progress because the women's tag match, and their tag match, that was kind of middle of the road. So 3.5 would be for me.
I would tend to agree with you, but you know me.
They need to have a story.
So really, the only story that came into play was there right at the end where Jackson Riker finally got involved in one of the matches. They're heels. It should have been going on forever, but I guess, yeah, no need to when they can do it on their own, but now he needed to. Cool, sure, but in a match that was like 10 minutes long or more, like, that was like the last 60 seconds, and it's like, fuck that. So I'm going to go 3.25 stars. Because this match was there at the end for the last 2 or 3 minutes, much better than middle of the road.
Yeah.
And Street Profits, absolutely.
I was about to say, you had very little faith in this match going in until like the last 3 or 4 minutes of the match, and that's when it really started taking your interest.
So I think 3.25 stars is more than generous.
Oh, it is.
So I'm just gonna be more than generous and give it 3.25. But not my favorite match that I've seen out of either team. However, that Doomsday Blockbuster might be the favorite move that I've seen out of the Street Profits yet.
That is a tag team finisher and a half right there.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT, and we want to remind you that tomorrow you can check us out for the NXT party where we will be reviewing NXT UK episode, I believe, number 28.
28.
So if you'd like to be up here on the big screen where this infinite version of us going back all of our episodes, if you could actually go that far back into the pixels, that's actually got all of our episodes of What's NXT. So I think that's pretty cool.
It's neat.
But if you'd like to replace that with your big mug and review an episode of NXT UK with us, tomorrow we will be having, as we said before, Colin Andrew, the Cleaver.
Yeah. He
will be with us tomorrow, but if you'd like to be on the big screen, if I haven't said it enough times, you can find me on... Big screen. I actually have a bigger one. I'm thinking about switching them out. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter. Go to nodehue.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to go to Twitter and find me, it's at Stephan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. There's a reason for that. And you can also find this gentleman on Twitter.
at No DQ General, and also on my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR exclamation point. Find Stephen or I, or any other member of No DQ Galaxy at this point, because I've just about got everybody in there except for Virtue. But like, just join up. We have wrestling discussions and everything else. So.
Well, speaking of joining things, if you like our video, hit the like button. It's right underneath me. If you like all of our videos, hit the subscribe button. It's right underneath Jerry. And if you want to get these videos early, they usually go up really late in the night before Thursday when this video comes out, or Thursday night, early Friday morning before it comes out sometime on Friday for the NXT party. You can subscribe to my channel, or our channel really. It's Aftermatch Wrestling. Aftermatch is all one word. AFTERMATCH Wrestling. And as I've said before, if we get up to 100 subscribers, I think we're going to start doing these videos live. Saves me a lot of trouble. And $10 every 3 months on a video editor. So I just don't want to go live at the hours that we have to record this, knowing nobody's going to fucking watch anyway.
And also, if you have any questions for us or ways that, we could possibly make the show any better, or, more pleasant for you, just
comments down below, bro.
Let us know.
Yeah, also comment down below if you'd like to be on an episode of NXT Party, but you don't have Twitter, or you don't have Facebook or any of that. Chris Mace, I talked to via email. Like just regular old school email, and that's how we got him on the show. Like, whatever works for you, I'll figure it out. And then schedule-wise, we can figure it out together. So, for the General Jerry Slaughter, I am, of course, the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, and we will see you NXT time.